Well, hey, Mike,
Hey,
you,
Tyson.
you think that con was just a great success?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Problem is, I got this issue going on, man.
What's that?
I just can't get this convection oven to work. Ow!
My,
Why'd you hit me?
Hi, I'm Tyson.
And I'm Mike. And we argue with dragons.
Listeners, welcome back. Mike and I are currently burning the midnight oil, folks. It is 11:22 p.m. Central Time as we record.
So it's not midnight oil yet, unless you're in the East Coast.
By the time I finish editing, it will definitely be midnight oil. But
for
hey,
sure.
listeners, we have just got back home and got settled in and got our little in-home studio set back up after a long road trip back from Kansas City. This festival was amazing.
Yes, it was.
I mean, it was, dare I say, life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the positively most wonderful people one could ever imagine.
Yes, the dedication and there's a word and I can't think of it right now, but the community and the family that they formed with each other. And it's so many people getting out there and playing games, making games, writing stories, telling stories, and everybody's there supporting each other, rooting each other on. And I am here for it. I am so here for it.
Same, dude. For me, it wasn't even about the games. It was about just how much everyone had that bond, almost like a true extended family.
There's camaraderie is the word I was thinking of. And wow. I sit here and stare right now at the sheer amount of contact cards, business cards that I was given by people who insisted that I stay in contact with them. And a pile of little trinkets. These booths, the vendors, the sponsors, everybody at the festival gave each other trinkets throughout the day. And it's just, I could not have asked for a better opportunity. So I want to thank the folks at Midwest Gamefest, the Chick in the Hat. You know who you are. We're going to be interviewing you remotely since we didn't have time to get to you. I was so bummed. But yeah, we're on it. So
we are indeed on it.
So tomorrow we'll resume regularly scheduled recording and programming, working on a new episode and getting that posted next week. Just so you listeners understand, this content dump is kind of our week's episode this week. So we're not really missing a week, but we're definitely going to get some more content recorded. We might reflect a little on the festival, but there's some new topics I really want to talk about that Mike and I were spitballing the whole way to Kansas City.
Yeah, the whole way back for the most part.
Yeah, really. I came back with a master plan to revamp my entire in-home homebrew world with new rules and new things. And Mike came back with a fresh determination to be the best dungeon master he can be.
Absolutely, I did.
And we made
the level of inspiration that hit me like a frickin' baseball bat, dude.
I know, it is unreal. And we made some lifelong friends.
Yes, we did.
At least I hope they will be. So anyway, we're going to cut over to some interviews now, and you guys enjoy.
Enjoy it all, because we certainly did.
CJ. All right, we are here with CJ then. She is here as a patron guest to the Midwest Gamefest. So CJ, what brings you to the festival today?
Family, friends, games. It's essentially tradition at this point for my family to come here.
Yeah.
My parents have been coming here since the Living Greyhawk. Which is about when I was born, at least that long.
Gotcha. How old are you, CJ?
I am 23.
23. All right. So what is your game? What is your favorite game here?
My favorite game. It's so hard to choose.
There is quite an abundance of choice here.
I know.
I'm gonna show you a picture of Billy Bob.
I'd have to say the one I brought, which is I call it the Forbidden Games, but I don't think that's like the official name for it. But it's like this group of adventurers that keep getting into situations, and they keep trying to get out of the situations, which just puts them into more situations.
Gotcha. So you're clutching something pretty tight there in your arms. What do you got? Tell our listeners what you got.
It is from Tentacle Kitty. It is a rat-tailed unicorn. It's essentially a giant, fluffy unicorn, but with a rat tail for a tail.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's about the size of a small dog.
Or a large cat.
Or a very large cat.
Or a large cat, yes.
Yes.
It's very cute. Very cute.
Yeah. And it has a rainbow horn for those that are curious.
Yeah. So you are an avid collector, I come to understand. So tell me, what is it that you collect?
Yes. I've gotten back into Hot Wheels collecting. About when Sword and Shield came out, I got into Pokemon, which is also about when Detective Pikachu came out. That's when I got my first Pokemon card. So those hold a special place in my heart. I will never get rid of them, except for one I did. There's a kid here who's really into Pokemon, so I give him some of my cards. I give him my extra Detective Pikachu card.
Aww.
So
that's really sweet of you to do.
That is very kind.
You made his day.
And there was no trade. Like, I just gave him my extras. He had to give me none in return.
Oh, that's fantastic. So now, do you play Pokemon or do you just collect?
I just collect. I wish I had the games, but the trading card game, I have never understood how to play.
That's okay.
You and me both.
All right. So what are some of the things you've participated in here at the festival?
I hosted a slot for the Forbidden Games. It's just a marathon where we just played one after the other. The Navigator died, so we kind of tried to keep that continuity with the NES game. But then after that, someone played the Navigator.
Oh, no
There's I am going to today take part hopefully in the Devil's Dandy Dogs.
Oh.
Despite the fact that I'm a cat person.
Oh, that's okay. My co-host here is an avid cat lover.
Oh, absolutely.
Also.
I love cats.
How many do you got?
3 of them.
Only 3.
Well, it's all we were allowed to have. Landlord didn't allow more.
Yeah.
Be your own landlord, then you can allow as many as you want.
If only I had the money.
He's working on it.
I sure am.
Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to, Christina? Or CJ, I'm sorry.
I'd love to give a shout out to my dad, who's gave me enough money to get this one comic book thing, and also helped me out with hosting the slot. My mom for helping us even get here, and for me to actually sign up for stuff, and just you guys for letting me do this.
Yeah,
of course,
no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, CJ, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with us today. We'll get you the info so you can go listen to yourself chat and hear your interview.
I have a few Discord servers I'm in that I'm sure would love to
hear it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Spread the word. I'm sure your friends would be happy to listen to.
All right. Yes. Thanks, CJ.
All right. You're welcome.
Perfect.
All right, we are sitting here right now with 3 individuals from a company called Marsh Games. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Aiden.
I'm Quinn.
I am Sarah. And we are Forever Marsh Tabletop from Kansas City.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what you develop, what you do.
We make tabletop RPGs, the type of RPGs you might think of when you hear like D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, Shadowrun, using dice and role-playing to create a story, that kind of thing.
Okay.
We like to create those games to add more to the community. It's kind of part of the whole reason we started is to try to fill in those gaps.
Okay. All right. So is it like, do you guys do like the short form or the long form style?
A bit of both.
Okay.
Our most recent game that we just released, Deep Spacing, is a very short form game. 1 to 2 sessions, get together, kind of thing. You like, have a bunch of friends over, drink some beer, play a game. But we also like to create long form games. We've got some other games that are, you could play for years, hypothetically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The game that I developed specifically, it's called Palette Quest. It's about playing a full dive VR video game. It's specifically designed so that you could play it forever, or at least that's one of the goals that I have.
For some reason, they like me.
Hypothetically, you could play it forever.
Cool. Cool.
And the other big one we're developing, the first one actually we started developing, is still in development, is a Soldiers of Steel, or SOS, which is a steampunk 1930s mech versus monster game.
Oh.
Very customizable, very modular, make your mech exactly how you want it. No two mechs will be the same. So that's been fun to make.
And is that going to be a war game or a tabletop or?
It's an RPG technically, but it is definitely
inspired by war games for sure.
Okay,
but there's many RPG elements to it beyond just the war.
Right. There is like a whole market, I think, of crossover between war game and RPG that is still waiting to be fully tapped, I feel like.
Absolutely. And we kind of stumbled into that on accident, right? Like when you're out of your mech, you're playing an RPG, you're role playing, and you're probably still doing that a little bit in the mech. But in the mech, you're moving your pieces, you've got all the things on the board, reminiscent of like BattleTech, things like that.
As we playtest, we are literally using BattleTech minis and advanced squad leader maps because they happen to work well for what we're doing.
Awesome.
Very interesting. I like it.
I've seen that a little bit done. I was a big Star Wars RPGer, and when you get into a spaceship, it kind of becomes a war game almost. They're still playing it like a roll the dice ship versus ship, but I was like, no, let's get out my little Hot Wheels starships and let's pretend like we're really in space here. So that's awesome. So what sets apart your RPGs, your tabletop games from games like D&D, Pathfinder, the big three?
So I'm sure pretty much every RPG is going to have some similarities. We all kind of draw from similar, human storytelling. But I personally believe that a lot of our games are made with a couple things in mind. One of the first is like the fact that we know we're an indie company, right? We're small, so we try to focus really hard on one thing and do it very well. A lot of indie games will do that. Dungeons and Dragons, it's very broad. It does a lot of things, a lot of different things, a lot of different directions. A lot of bigger games will do that. Indie games, they sort of have to focus on one thing and they do really well. At least try to, at least. Like the Deep Spacing, right? It's a 70s retro roguelike, so it's a silly ship game is how you define that. Soldiers of Steel, right? That's just a fighting monsters essentially. A lot of customization. It's always sort of a struggle to not try to sound overconfident when you're describing your own game, but I do believe that we've done a very good job of basically picking a lane and going as far as we can in that one direction. So if you're interested in a mech game in sort of vaguer terms, then there's a lot of them. But if you're looking for one that has a lot of customization specifically, then maybe Soldiers of Steel is the game for you. And I think that's what people do when they look for an indie game. Right? They think more specific than they would with bigger popular games.
Yeah, I feel like D&D is a kitchen sink.
Yeah,
you throw literally everything at the race list is 3 miles long.
Exactly.
And how do you homebrew a world that has like 86 different playable races, and your player characters are going to find the 87th every stinking time?
Every time.
May I expand on?
Yeah, please. Sure.
A little more specifically, like that's a great example of one of the ways we've done that. But part of the reason we started the company was we love playing games, and there are lots of games that we would like to play that we couldn't find systems for. I'm a cozy gamer at heart. I love Stardew Valley and Slime Rancher and things like that. But in the
I could get lost in Stardew Valley for hours.
But I also like crunchy games. Like as I mentioned to you guys before we went on air. My group plays GURPS. I am really enjoying that. And most cozy games that exist in the RPG sphere are very rules light, very simple, and they're usually built for one-shots. I also really like campaigns. which is part of why when I was designing my game, it is specifically a cozy game that is meant to be played in a long-form campaign. It has a little more mechanical depth than a lot of other cozy games do. It's not going to appeal to everyone, but it fills that niche that you didn't see. Soldiers of Steel is filling a niche of customizability in mech games specifically. And that is sort of one of the big philosophies we go into when we're making a game is, okay, what hole is this filling in the space?
Right. Cool. All right, so where can people find your guys' games, your business, everything?
We have ourselves a website for Marsh Tabletop. If you just look us up on Google, it'll be the first thing on. We have an itch where we sell our games currently, and we have playtests on there as well if you're interested in seeing some other in-development stuff. Yeah, that's it. And we have some social media, Instagram, Discord as well. I think that's it.
Pretty much everything you're going to find on our website. At the bottom, we've got a list of all of our, our Ko-fi, our X, our Instagram, our Discord. We got a Mastodon. I'm sure we have other things. We've got a YouTube.
I've never even heard of Mastodon.
Keeping up with social media is like a full-time job.
Open source. We had to get somebody.
We are very grateful. We have a good online friend who has offered to help manage our social media for us.
That's awesome.
Full time.
Might send her my information too, because oh my god, I just wanted a podcast and now I'm a social media manager.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. All right. So you guys have any shout outs you want to give while you're here?
Shout outs. I shout out to our other founder who is not here right now, Trevor Stewart. He's our rock. He is the lore boy, as he calls himself. He's in the caves writing all our lore, inscribing them on tablets. Some other shout out to my family, I suppose. I don't know what I would do without my mother and father, who actually visited this con yesterday with my younger sister, who wanted to see what I did. Any other shout outs you guys?
My family shout out is Midwest Gamefest, effectively.
Yep, awesome.
Absolutely.
I came here, my father found this con a few years ago. I think this is my 4th year here, and it's really become a home. I love the convention space and Midwest Gamefest specifically. We go to all the cons in the KC area, CantCon, Meepleathon, and we also go a little further away, like Tsunami Con in Kansas is also a great space for us. But Midwest Gamefest in particular has really welcomed us. Like, we registered our games online, and we were basically full before, like, weeks before the con started. So Midwest Game Fest, both the staff and just the attendees, the people here, have really shown us a lot of love, and we're really grateful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you,
I really
indeed.
appreciate
So much
it.
for having us.
Yeah, we'll get you, grab yourself a card here, and we'll be probably posted before midnight tonight, because the last 2 nights it's taken me till midnight to get everything edited and posted. So, all right, thank you guys.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
It's like about his.
We are sitting here with Jesse right now, and Jesse has a hot take that he assumes he wants to precursor and say that he's really joking. But I think this will be a fun conversation to have. Jesse, tell us what you just told me.
I'm just saying D&D's overrated.
So why do you think D&D's overrated?
Okay, like, you see all these other TTRPGs. You see, like, Pathfinder. So, like, let's get the big ones out of it. There's D&D, obviously. But, like, there's Pathfinder. I cannot actually remember the name of it. Oh, God, I'm not going to... But, like, you get what I mean. There's a bunch of smaller ones.
Oh, yeah. There's Pathfinder, Shadowrun.
Yeah.
There's...
Shadowrun, Cyberpunk, GURPS,
Dread.
Cyberpunk is the one I think of.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, like, there's all these other TTRPGs, but, like, everyone just flocks to D&D when, like, and some people don't even enjoy it. And people, like, they'll get into D&D and just be like, they think this is the one TTRPG experience, and then they're like, I don't like this. But then there'll be something else that's for them. Like, let's say Dread, for example. Like, some people just don't like rolling dice. Some people want more of skill expression. And they don't like the random chance of dice.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I mean, I'm right there with you. I think D&D is too much of a kitchen sink.
exactly.
I think they try to be everything for everybody, and that's why people flock to it, because it's everywhere.
It's accessible.
You have a list as long as my...
Also, if you don't play rules as written, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
a joke. That's a joke.
That's another argument entirely. But I do want to talk on that.
Oh, okay. So you said if you play rules as written, you're wrong.
No, if you don't play rules as written, you're wrong.
If you're wrong,
you have to. So before you enter your first session ever of D&D, you have to have every single rule memorized. You need to know how it interacts with every other rule, and if you don't get it right, you should be permanently.
He can't even say this with a straight face, ladies and gentlemen. So that's absolutely wrong. You don't have to know any rules about D&D to play D&D, and that's okay. That's okay. But what he's talking about is if you're sitting next to a rules lawyer, they're going to push their glasses up and be like, well, excuse me.
Actually, if you look
on page 237, your dice must be a certain color to roll.
So actually, if you look at rule CR 307.1 dash, I believe it's the 2A. So the only acceptable colors of dice are standard white. If you use other dice, you actually get a -5 to your hit roll, and you do lose 5 HP every turn.
Jesse, have you ever watched Futurama?
I do love Futurama.
Okay, so the bureaucrats in Futurama. You just described them perfectly.
Bender's, not Bender's, oh god.
Fry's girlfriend?
Which one?
He goes out with the one.
But yes, the, Hermes dance. Hermes dance. Oh, perfect.
Oh, I love it.
And then him getting D-ranked for finishing on time.
All right, so D&D has problems. We get it. It's kind of like a gateway drug, though. It gets all the people who have no experience whatsoever, who are vanilla, and gets them into swirl, and gets them into pineapple, and before you know it, you're putting it on pizza.
Pineapple on pizza is delicious, and I will fight you.
So
I'll fight with you.
Thank you.
What RPG do you like? What do you think is the pinnacle of tabletop RPGs?
Terraria.
That's not
Terraria, the board game.
Oh, there's a board game?
Oh.
Okay, I'm joking, but it is actually a really fun board game. I'm actually sponsored by Relogic.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
No, he wants to be. This podcast is not sponsored by Terraria, folks.
This podcast is sponsored by Pokemon.
Oh,
we can only wish.
I wish.
We can only wish.
Somebody's suing me right now as I speak.
Nintendo's on the way.
The papers are being drawn up, folks. All right, so that's your preference for game?
No, I'm kidding. Genuinely, if you have not tried it, the rules are a bit weird, and it took me like 10 videos to try and find out. But like for me, when I played it, it was just let's say these are the rules. These are kind of the rules, but we're just gonna say these are the rules, and we went with it.
Okay.
It was fun until I accidentally performed an infinite combo.
I accidentally broke the game, folks. I've heard that in D&D numerous times.
Numerous times.
Have you seen the video? There's like a bunch of them of like what spell can do like the highest damage.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
I saw one and I thought it was really funny. The dude had said if you fight this like Fey leader, because Fey can take up 4 for a square, if you summon, I think it was Meteor Swarm, you can do so much damage. However, he made like another video of like, I know we're getting off topic, but I just want to talk about
It's okay. There's no real topic. It's fine.
Yeah, anything nerd related, we're all about it.
So, if you are going up against, I kid you not, the Soviet army, the World War II Soviet army, because he said it was the biggest force of people ever amassed. If you're going against like the Soviets, I cannot remember the name of the spell, but the spell's effect was like you hit one person, and then if you like roll the same number on both dice or something like that, it'll bounce to another person. So hypothetically, if you were to roll and get lucky enough to have it bounce on every person in the entire Soviet army, you could technically roll, I think it was like some billion, trillion, whatever amount of damage. And I think he said it'd take like 30 years to roll the dice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny though.
That would. somebody out there greater than me in math will have to calculate the odds of it being possible.
Well, let's be honest here. There's a lot of mathematical fallacies out there, but there's also a lot of unquantifiable numbers. For instance, 52 unvigintillion. Do either of you know what that means?
No,
It's
but
more
do
than
you?
5.
It is 52 followed by 1 million zeros. Now, with that in mind, that is how many different shuffles of cards you can get when you shuffle a regular deck of playing cards with no jokers. Now, to get the exact same shuffle, you would have to give 1 billion people 1 billion decks of cards each, shuffling nonstop for 1 billion years, and only then would you start seeing repeats.
Okay, but have you considered I'm just that lucky?
Potentially. But to kill an entire Soviet army by rolling dice just sounds a little difficult
Just
to achieve.
because there are 36 zeros in front of my 1 behind a decimal point does not mean that it's statistically impossible.
Okay, like, have you played Warhammer?
No.
No, I've always wanted to.
I'm always going to make
too
that
broke.
9-inch church, I swear. My friend plays Late Nights. We have yet to play a game since we're still new, but dear God. So how it works is you have your army faction, that is the models you can play. You have your detachment, that is the subsect of your army, and that's going to give you special rules. His detachment lets him just warp around, which what that does is he gets to remove up to 3 units off the table each turn, and then deep strike them back, which is 9 inches away. And so what his whole plan is to just pick up his units, place them back down 9 inches away from my people, and just make repeated 9-inch charge, 9-inch charge, 9-inch charge. And for charge rules, you have 2d6. So he is expected to roll a 9, a 10, an 11, or a 12 every time.
Wow.
It's something.
I'm telling you, it's just a 9-inch charge.
It's just a nice charge, yeah, until it's not.
Until he fails 10 of them in a row, because, like, I can't remember it, but it is, like, an astronomically low to get even, like, a few of them in a row. But to get, like, even if he used to go to, like, get, I think it's, like, 40% or whatever to get one of them.
Oh.
Well, you've got 11 options on 2d6s, so double ones or all the way up to 12 total, but there's no 1 in it, so either way, but yeah, that's just
tell
that
me
times
this,
6.
Jesse, what games did you come to the Midwest Game Fest to play this weekend? What have you all played?
Oh god, what was it called? It was like Warhammer Bloodbane or something like that. So if you just go down to the right, they've got a whole thing set up. It was really fun.
Yeah. What else you play?
Nothing so far.
No. One game, huh? You've been here all 4 days?
No, I came here at 9 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
that's
you were
fine.
just here today?
Yep.
Okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Well, there's still time. You should go join another game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe go try a D&D game and see if you still think it's boring.
I've kind of just been bothering my friends most of the time. It's fun.
Well, that's totally okay too. I bother
To
my
bother
all the
friends is to have friends, so definitely
I'm on a
do it.
podcast.
You're on a podcast?
He's on a podcast.
time. He's very excited.
Yeah, we can tell.
All right, Jesse, do you have any shout outs you want to give?
This is not sponsored by Pokemon. However, we are going to copyright it. Yay.
All right. Well, thanks, Jesse, for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir.
I gave the argument D&D was over.
All right, we are sitting here with Jan at the Midwest Game Fest. Jan, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
My name is Jan Gephardt. I write as Jan S. Gephardt. I'm a retired teacher and graphic designer and writer and paper sculptor and, done a lot of things. But I'm here at the Game Fest because I'm the writer guest, special guest, and I've got a series of books that I've been promoting. It's called the XK9 Saga, And it is, I like to introduce it as, may I interest you in space dogs?
That's wonderful.
That is a good pitch.
I love a good book tagline.
I like to tell people it's about as succinctly as I can wrap it up. It's uplifted canines who live on a space station and solve murder mysteries. And the dogs do not die.
Oh, that's very
There's a lot of people
right
here that I think that's important. They know it going in.
They have thrilling near misses, and all bets are off on the humans. But the dogs have plot armor, or I would lose all my readers.
No, very true.
Right.
Very true.
So what inspired this series?
Oh, a lot of things, actually. I've been a science fiction lover for a long, long time.
We can use the word nerd here. It's okay.
I am totally and most sincerely a nerd, yes. Been in fandom for quite a while now. And I finally found my people, you know.
There you
Sometimes
go.
it takes a long time.
Sometimes it takes a while, yes. Well, I found my people in the early 1980s, and it still seemed like it had taken me a long time because I was an adult by then. I've always been a writer. I wrote and illustrated my first story at the age of 4.
Oh.
Dictated it to my mother because I hadn't learned to read yet. And, the rest is kind of, I was doomed from the get-go. So,
and if I may ask, what did you teach?
Art and journalism.
Journalism.
Okay. Yeah.
I took journalism in high school.
My mother was a teacher, and my dad went to college for journalism.
Yes. Well, I've always wanted to be a writer, and I always wanted to be an artist. Could very seldom could I make the distinction between, okay, yes, this is my path, and then immediately new things would open up on the other branch of the path.
Yeah.
So finally I decided, okay, I just can't decide. I'll just go for broke and do both. So I ended up, my parents said, okay, well, if you're going to do this art and writing thing, be practical with it. And so I took graphic design and I took journalism, which were at least things that they were satisfied I might be able to make a living at. The thing I also did that I actually made money at was teaching. So I'm certified to teach both in secondary.
I think teaching is the most important job in the world. I mean, you can do anything you want, but if you don't have teachers, you ain't got a civilization.
There you go.
It's the most important job in the world and one of the most criminally underpaid.
Underappreciated, yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. And every year it seems to get harder.
Yeah.
So what authors inspired you? Like, who are the ones that just really hit you in the kidney?
Probably C.J. Cherry, Lois McBaster-Bujold, the Vorkosigan series, and of course the standards, Asimov.
Love Asimov.
Cole, Heinlein, I read them all. When I finally, when I hit fandom, I was like, oh my gosh, my cultural experience is lacking here. I haven't read all of the Golden Age authors.
There's a lot of them, so you'd be hard pressed to catch all of them.
I was reading for a while, yeah. Enjoyed very much not only reading but also getting to know Warren C. Norwood. He was my brother-in-law eventually. So.
There you go.
But,
so if you were going to pitch your book to somebody, now I always see a lot on the internet where somebody says, if you like this book series, you'll love this book series. So what's the book series you tell people, if you like this, you'll love my book?
Well, the problem with that is I'm not sure that there are actual comps to
space dogs.
Cops.
I mean, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one, yes. There is a sort of a subcategory that Amazon hasn't noticed yet and made a thing, canine mysteries. And those are mostly contemporary, but they involve having a human sleuth who has a trained police or search and rescue or, bomb detection canine. And so they're solving mysteries with the aid of their very skilled but normal contemporary dog.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole subgenre that they eventually ought to come up with
dig into.
Come up with as a formal. They did come up with science fiction mystery as a formal category. So
Cool.
there's.
So are the books written from the canine perspective?
The books, well, the protagonist of the trilogy is Rex, who is the pack leader, and he's an ex-canine. The humans are kind of like their sidekicks, if you will.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
But we have multiple points of view in each book, so you get there's a few humans and there's a few dogs. We always get Rex and we always get Shady, his mate. So,
do you find it challenging to write from the perspective of what's not human, what's an animal?
Well, I've lived with dogs all my life, and I've studied their behavior, and I have little cheat sheets that I go back to on a regular basis, and then I also make it a point to always be living with dogs, so that I have normal dogs in my life all the time, and so remembering some of the orientation to scent as a primary sense is one of the main ways that I evoke the dogness, if you will. They are sapient, so they think on a more sophisticated level than, and so they're more like a human level. But the things that they pay attention to are the things that move fast. They don't see colors the way we do. They smell a vast array of scents that humans, numb noses, can't begin to decipher.
Is that a term that's used in the book?
They talk all the time about your pitiful little human nose.
That's awesome.
I love that so very much.
So what advice would you give somebody who's been trying to write or wants to write a book about whatever topic? What advice is a writer?
My advice is that if you want to write something and you are writing something, then you are a writer. You're just not a published writer. And it pays to spend some time, do the due diligence, do the 10,000 hours, if you will. Learn grammar, first of all. Learn to spell, or at least to competently run spell check. Plan on hiring an editor or a proofreader at some point.
Of course.
In your just plan on it. And if you don't have any artistic background, for God's sake, hire somebody who does to make your cover. Even if you publish it yourself, and there are people who want to be traditionally published, and there's a certain amount of cachet that still goes with that. I lived with, I have been writing for most all of my adult life. And there for a while I was trying to sell books via agents to traditional publishers while I was also rearing small children, which was not, for me, a good idea. I just can't write fast enough when I've got my mind spread in a bunch of different directions. Yeah. So
you still managed it.
Well, I managed it eventually, but way longer time frames than the publishers wanted to consider.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure in traditional publishing.
Yes,
there is.
Gotta keep publishing all the time, and that pace does not work for me. So I wrote the first novel that I actually felt was worth publishing in my current career as a writer. It finished it in 2019. That was What's Bred in the Bone. I wrote a sequel or a prequel novella about how the dogs and their humans met and paired up as teams. The following year, self-published it in 2020, and it is now available as an ebook to download for free if you join my newsletter. So
awesome.
Passing around bookmarks and things like that with the QR code. If somebody wants to go to WeirdSistersPublishing.com or JanSGephardt.com, either one of those is my is a website that I own, and you can find a widget at the bottom of the page to sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah, we'll definitely get a link to that posted when we post this interview out there for you.
And I definitely do like the art on these bookmarks. It is rather pretty, and the art on the books themselves is just beautiful.
One of the things that is a perk of having been a fantasy artist for years and years and years is I got involved in ASFA, the Association of Fantasy and Science Fiction artists, and I met a lot of professional illustrators. They're my friends.
Yeah.
And so I went to my friend Jody Lee, who does most of the Mercedes Lackey covers, and said, I'm writing my first book. Would you mind doing a cover for me? And so she did actually the first two. She didn't have time to fit the third one into her schedule. And so I went to another good friend from a long time named Tom Kidd and asked him, hi, I need a cover for my book. I also have a dear friend who's personal friend and also a very fine artist. She's more in the fine art now, but she came through fandom and did a lot of media portraits and that sort of thing. Very excellent painter, and her name is Lucy Sink. And she's done a lot of the XK9 portraits in the back matter that I publish, the companion to the trilogy. She did the cover for the trilogy, and for the omnibus edition, and she also did the cover for the prequel novella.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of her art on my web pages, and I have a really wonderful animation that I was able to commission from Mark A. Garlick, who is a 3D modeler from the UK of Rana Station. And so it's a flyby of my space station, and it's on my website.
When you see that for the first time, somebody does something like that, it's just like, oh my gosh, it feels so real.
It does. It totally does. Of course, there's a fly-through between one side of the station to the other. You go from the dark side to the light side, and the side that faces the local star. And I'm sure that that's an illegal maneuver. So I'm working on a story about that.
Oh my!
But
that's awesome.
How did that picture get taken? How did that video get taken? But anyway, it's just I'm retired, so I'm full time able to focus on my writing and running Weird Sisters Publishing, which I started in 2019 with my sister, G.S. Norwood. G.S. Norwood is her writing name. She has a bunch of novels that she hadn't been able to sell to the romance writers, but they're very complex, multi-layered. I've always thought they should have been published as women's fiction. And then, of course, there's
starting to wrap up. It looks like
there's the
especially because the storm that's supposed to be coming through.
There's the work that my late brother-in-law did. We want to bring those back into print if we can through Weird Sisters Publishing.
Right.
Wow.
Sounds like people in the background are wrapping up.
Oh yeah, it does.
Most certainly. The whole con is winding to a close.
Yes.
Frankly, I would say, I think I speak for both of us when I say we are positively blessed to have caught you before we left.
Absolutely.
I'm delighted to be here.
I've told my kids that one day they'll see their dad's name on something published, even if it only sells one copy. I don't care. So, getting to meet a few published authors here has been like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? I love it. I love it. So thank you so much for your time.
As long as you are honing the craft and learning how to do it right.
I'm trying.
Absolutely.
And get other people to read it who know what they're talking about. You can have your mother or your wife read it, and she may or may not be able to give you informed professional advice. Find a good writers group. That's always a great thing to do.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
A writers group that will be supportive. Now, some people go into writers groups with the idea that they are going to shoot down everybody else and prove that they are superior. And those folks really can mess up a good writers group. Your ideal writers group is almost like a group therapy session. You share each other's work and you dissect it in a lot of ways and offer. I think it could be perhaps this is a little wordy, or maybe you could polish it here. Have you considered this other approach to this? Maybe a different POV for this scene, or things like that. But at the end of the day, we all want each other to succeed.
Yes,
and
that makes all the difference.
We go cheer each other on at shows that we're both at, and things like that. I have a dear friend who's also a writer and now self-published. She tested out the traditional publishing route and went, okay, all right, enough of that. So she's doing better, just fine as an indie.
Good.
And we often share a table. Her name is Karen Gastrike. Or she goes under KR Gastrike, and so I like a little plug for her.
Awesome.
Also, Lynette M. Burrows is another friend in my circle who writes really excellent books.
Cool.
And,
awesome.
So,
all right. Well, thank you so much, Jan. I really appreciate your time. Yeah. No.
This has been fun.
It's like an honor for me to meet a published author who knows what they're talking about.
I try anyway. So. I'm always learning something. Which again, if you're an artist in any media, if you're not continually learning something,
what are you doing?
Then you're just atrophying,
Yeah, exactly. Always
I like to say every book I write is better.
It's comfy.
Better written, better, and so it's a never-ending process.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
In closing, one final little note for you, from you for our listeners. What would you say is the number one rule that you have for yourself when you're writing?
That you couldn't have that, keep that controller, you couldn't have that.
Does it serve the story?
Okay.
That's a good one, because a lot of times you find yourself getting lost in the weeds.
Yes.
And you're like, this is really relevant at all.
I mean, the background, the quote unquote Bible for my series is like massive at this point. The back matter that I sell as the trilogy companion is a small sliver of that.
Yeah, of the world you've built is huge.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you got to my memory isn't perfect like the XK9, so I have to go back and wait. What was the name of that tower, or what was the name of Walter's grandma? How did I spell her name?
I have the same problem in the fantasy world I built. I've had to pile on a wiki, basically, for just this world and all the mythos that I've created.
And I've had more than one reader say, thank you for the who's who and what's what at the end. That really makes it easier when I've forgotten it. It's police drama, so there's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And to have a gazetteer
and to
at the
have
back.
a little thing at the back that tells you, you just look it up in alphabetical order, and there it is. It's like, oh, right, that's what that is.
That's
FBI,
awesome.
CIA, NYPD, WTF, BBQ, it's all there.
Also PTV and OPD and SBI and all of the rest.
That is wonderful to know that you would do that for your readers. And honestly, I am more than certainly going to be getting your works.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jan. You have a great day.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you so much for being here.
Appreciate you having me on.
No problem.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, those were some pretty great interviews, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Absolutely.
I just listening to Jan talk about the XK9s.
Yeah, dude, that's
her concept for this story is wild.
Whew, yeah, definitely.
Oh man, and this, it's funny. Our interview with the three gamers from the company,
Forever Marsh.
Yes.
Yeah.
They stayed at our booth for almost 2 hours after that 10-minute interview. And I was like, man, some of the stuff we were talking about, we should have recorded.
Because we would have had an episode and a half or even 2 of them with them there.
Exactly. They're 4 individuals running a company on top of their day jobs. They are half my age and they are killing it at releasing games. And, it wasn't until that exact moment that I realized that a lot of these game producers are taking these brand new, hot off the press games and play testing them right at the cons and getting strangers off the street to be like, hey, this game was freaking awesome. Or, hey, this game is broken. Let's fix it. And
indeed,
I'm just, oh man, it just made me so happy. Some of the things, you may miss, we talked to a few, attendees that may not make the episode. But if you're listening, don't worry. We love you anyway.
Yes, indeed.
But I had to make sure it cut, just the right time. So
yeah. I mean,
next,
what can you do?
So our next episode will release the dice winners from the contest we had at the festival.
Yeah.
That'll be good. I'll contact those individuals and see if they can give me their, where I can mail them the set of dice they may have won. We'll read their hot takes on air. Even though they weren't really very hot, they were kind of lukewarm.
Yeah, a couple of them were even tepid.
Yeah, exactly. And some of them weren't even hot takes at all. I think they just wanted to shout out, and that's fine too. We love them anyway.
Yeah.
But hey, folks, we made lots and lots of contacts. There were so many vendors that we spoke to, and those didn't make this episode, but they are on our TikTok page. Look it up at Arguing with Dragons. We highlighted several vendors that were at the expo and, let them show off their craft and talk a little bit about themselves. It was noisy and, so forgive me. I'm not going to edit those videos like that. I want you guys to experience what we experienced at the festival.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
And yeah, the first gentleman we talked to, the very first interview we had, was it Mike Howard, right?
Yes, indeed.
He caught us in the car on the way out of the festival, and he had to come shake our hands again. And he's like, "I love you guys. Please come back next year." And it was like,
you can bet your sweet Bippy will be back next year.
Exactly. This will be, folks, on my permanent radar every year. We're gonna go and we're gonna interview folks, and some of these interviews we got. I mean, L-list celebrity. He referred to himself as an L-list celebrity.
And there were people that, the Forever Marsh Games people that before we even started recording, we told them that we met him and they were aghast.
They're like, "Oh, you talked to him?" And I was like, yeah. Will's a great guy. He sat down with us. He volunteered to come sit in the chair and talk to us. I sent him an email today to let him know his episode made it live.
Yeah, but the way they reacted when we said we talked to him, it was made it sound like we talked to Brad Pitt in 2002.
Folks, I love these interviews. I think they're great. They're fun.
Yes, they are.
But hey, we got to wrap this up. So, Mike, do you got a fun trivia fact for our listeners?
Capybara is the world's largest rodent.
It is. If you've never seen one at the zoo, they are amazing. All right, folks, my name is Tyson.
And my name is Mike.
We are Arguing with Dragons. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Over and out.